Yes, people. We are back live. We are back live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube for another edition of the ManDem United podcast, the podcast dedicated to all things Manchester United. This is a unscheduled one. Like normally, obviously, you don't get ManDem United podcasts on weekends, but obviously, my bro Tux was like, "Yo, I'm about." So I was like, "All right, let's pull up and let's talk all things Manchester United because a lot is going on." And obviously, with the Burnley game at 8 p.m., it only made sense to do the show after the Burnley game as well, with Manchester United beating Burnley as Bruno Fernandes scores the only goal. But make sure you hit the like button on the video first and foremost. Make sure you hit that like button, share across all the socials as well. And on top of that, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the channel, Sarcasm City TV. The reason why I'm laughing, because Tux just turned on his camera and was doing the Millie Rock. I like Eddie said when we left the watch along. I don't even know where this guy is, but I don't know what this guy's on. But like, I'm looking forward to the show. For those that don't know, me and Tuck started this channel originally, so like this is the OG link up. This is like, for any Marvel heads, this is like Marvel's like Avengers Assemble. Like this is the original cast. So before you got all the others and all the other spin-offs and all that, like this is the original like Sarcasm City TV cast. I don't even know if this guy's here. Yo, what you saying, Tuck? You good anyway, fam?
Yeah, man's here. What you saying? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Calm. We good.
Yeah. Let's get in. Let's get into it. You blessed though, first and foremost, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all good, man. You get me? 3 points in the bag. I'm happy. You get me? You get me? Man is happy.
You happy, yo. Me more so is relief, yo. You know what I'm saying? Than that. It's hella relief, fam. I feel relieved, yo. I feel like Snoop when he got off the murder trial. That's how I feel, yo. That's how I feel, fam. You know that picture and he's got his hands together like that, and he's in the courtroom. That's how
his lawyer's arm around.
Yeah, he's got his lawyer, exactly that one, yo. That's how I feel. Not that I'm not happy, people, but I'm just relieved for a lot of reasons. One, getting the win, and two, that these players haven't actually packed it in with the manager, because that is something I was fearful of. But they put it in today because that was it was a workmanlike performance. For the lack of quality, it was workmanlike, and we got the win. Like, that's what it is. Defensively solid, no complaints. Going forward, we know we ain't the best because we see it all last season, but we move. But thoughts on the game, Tux?
Scrappy. Very, very scrappy, innit?
Scrappy,
but
yeah, that's right.
I'm comfortable. I feel comfortable watching that. You know what I mean? Like, there was a few moments. Nah, trust me. There was a few moments.
This is just the difference between me and you, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But go on, carry on. I'm not even surprised you said that. Yeah. You are. That's why, man. Like I said, I'm just relieved. But carry on, fam.
I felt comfortable. Like after they hit the post, it felt cozy. Like it's all right. You know what I mean? Like could have been better. Could have been a lot better on the ball. But that's been the story of Ten Hag's reign here, innit? Like we could always be better on the ball. But yeah, like we still got the same issues that we've been having this season so far. But we weren't getting cut through easily, which is a good thing. And also with Varane back, and he put in a shift when he came on as well.
He did.
That's massive.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Amrabat coming in. That's massive as well. So Mount's coming back as well. I don't want to say that's massive, but
thank you. Thank you.
Now he's gone. Now he's been gone. I understand like why the manager brought him in. It's confirmed what I thought in it. It's like I know exactly what the manager wanted you for in it. So I think it's positives, man. I think it's positives going into the next game with the confidence and players back as well. Like we should be all right, man. We got a good running coming up in it. So I'm happy.
I don't know about all that. But hey, large up to everyone in the chat. Obviously, we will divulge further into that. Like big up to Mike, man. Red Lion Gang in the building, man. Good to see Mike in the chat.
Mike,
long time. Red Lion. He was in the watch along chat as well, so it's good to see Mike. He's drinking, so shout out to Mike. Big up to Black Diamond as well. Marshall, I see you. Marshall K, what's up, people? Warrior J says, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. Yes, make sure you do, because there's over 40 of you lot locked in. Only at 15 likes, man. Let's get up to 40 likes. Like check 1212, man. Let's hit that like button. Subscribe as well, people. Johnny Hill says, not gonna lie, that match did further my belief that Ten Hag needs to sack. Interesting. Amrabat's first minutes for Manchester United, and he had to play left back. This manager's a donkey. Not surprised you actually said this, Johnny. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we've spoken enough, but I'll let you respond to this, fam.
Such a wild comment, bro. Like, if you don't know anything about Amrabat, like he be playing a shitload of positions in it. Like, that's just Amrabat.
Okay.
In the last
I know it's
press
a wild.
conference,
Before
the
you
manager
carry
said
on, I know it's a wild comment because you said it's a wild comment. But go on, carry on.
It's a wild comment, bro. But like, you get me? Like, we got a shitload of injuries out. Amrabat's someone that's played left back before. Like, if he has to play left back, he has to play left back in it. Like, it nearly went wrong because he gave away that free kick at the end. So it could have went wrong, but he can play left back. So put him left back. We brought in an emergency left back on loan, and he's gone off injured. What do you want us to do? The alternative to what you're saying is have no left back. What do you want us to do? Amrabat can play there, so he's gone there, innit? Like, it is what it is. Saying the manager needs the sack. Anybody that says that, like, I think you're having a mare, innit? Like, honestly,
go on, talk about
5-6 games into the season, to say someone needs the sack is wild. Bear in mind, we've won twice as well. So, like, it's a bad run.
Wait, is it 3? Yeah, it's 3 times now.
3 times now.
Yeah, 3 times now. Yeah, including today. Yeah, I was trying to think. Yeah, 3 times today. Yeah, 3 times today.
But for a season, because the thing is, if we won all 6 games, I wouldn't be saying we're in the title race. We're on for the Champions League. We wouldn't be saying none of that. And if I was on here saying this, you man would be calling me crazy, innit? It would just be seen purely as propaganda or toxic bantering, innit? No one would be taking me serious, innit? So why is it make sense to go the total opposite way? Like, man was saying 10 Heisenberg over the summer, and now it's get the manager out. I don't understand it. 6 games in, a shitload of injuries. Go away. Whatever. 6 games in, a shitload of injuries, and like there's reasons for these things. You get me? Like, so
what do you think the reasons are?
Manager, number 1, a shitload of injuries. Number 2, trying to implement the way Ten Hag wants to play, which for some reason these players seem incapable of doing. And we've seen it last season. The manager totally abandoned trying to implement his style of play. The way he's played in the past is not the way how he plays at United. There's only a few times last season we actually played the Ten Hag way, and that was Tottenham at home, Chelsea at home, and Chelsea away. Aside from those 3 games, I can't remember any times where we played the Ten Hag way in it. So he struggled since he's been here to implement his style of play, and I'm not surprised with the players that we've had. Obviously, that's going to take time, innit? It's not just going to be one season and you're able to implement that. You can see the changes coming in, but it's going to take time, innit? Also, you got the new players coming in that we need to bed in. There's just so much chaos going on at the club. Like, these things take time. Like, still, despite all this manager still has a better record than people like Klopp did.
I think he's just froze, but you lot bump up the likes as well, people. Continue to bump up the likes. Tox will be back. Don't worry about that. I'm sure you lot will have plenty to say and what he has to say, and I'll have plenty to say and what you lot have to say as well. And I'm here just, promoting the show at the same time, people. That's why you see me on the phone. I'm saying I'm here promoting the show. Always working while I'm working, people. You already know how it is, man. Sarcasm City TV. Sarcasm City TV. Get any questions in? Of course, if you super chat, we'll get straight to your question as well. That's one surefire way to make sure your question gets answered is indeed to super chat, people. That's the best way. But I will start the best questions as well. Don't worry about that. Right, let's see. Big Shelly Shell says, I don't think he should get sacked at all, but I need some of the football being played. At least bring on Donny van der Beek or something. And that's one thing when Talks comes back, I'm asking what he thinks the manager is indeed trying to implement. Because that's one thing I've not seen. But if the players are incapable, then switch it up. Like, that's what it might be. That's what I think he has to do, but we move. Yeah, Johnny, don't worry. When Talks comes back, I'll make sure I've started your comment there, so because that's your response. Malcolm, big up to you. Amrabat should have been on earlier. Yes, I wish he would have made more subs. I wish he would have made earlier subs. Like, that's it. But we just, yeah, man. Like I said, for me, it's just more relief that we won. yeah, I'm happy, but it just felt like one, we won, and two, the players have not given up on the manager. That's two things I've seen from today, and I'm like, okay, let's build on this. Let's beat Palace on. I believe we play him in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday, and we play him the Saturday in the Premier League. So let's beat Palace twice, and then move on from there and see how we're doing. Big Shelly Sells says, Ten Hag is slowly losing me, man. I know we got injuries and that, but we have no technical players in the midfield to carry us forward. What do you lot think? I don't think you necessarily need technical players in the midfield to be successful. It depends on what you're trying to do. And that's the biggest question. That's the biggest issue I have, is I don't know what the manager's trying to do. Because we didn't. Actually, you could say because Casemiro's technical to an extent. Eriksen is definitely technical. I'm talking more so last season, but that's it. I wouldn't put Fred, McTominay, Bruno in that category. And we had success. So I don't think you need to... Yeah, I don't think you need to have technical players in the midfield to necessarily be successful. You can work around it. And I've watched the manager do it last season. Could argue he has more technical players. Not well, he does. Like, because Amrabat in there is definitely a good addition. If you add Kobe Mainoo in there, who will get minutes, that's also an addition as well. So that's why I'm not hearing the argument in regards. But again, it comes back to Shells. It comes back to what is he trying to do? And that's the most confusing thing to me. Because even with injuries last season, I knew how we was going to set up and what we was trying to accomplish. Because there was times Casemiro was missing for suspensions. There was times Varane was missing. There was times Anthony didn't play. Like, there's times when your guys weren't, and you had less of your guys as well. So it was less of your imprint. The Hayes in goal, for example, you didn't have a 9. So I've watched you still implement. Like, I watched you play Vegas in the 10 away at the new camp, and it worked. That can only work due to system. That's not individual quality, because we all know Veghorst's quality. So that's why I don't hear the debate. It's just more so, what is the manager trying to do? And I don't see it from this season. But yeah, well, yeah, that's it, Tops. Obviously, Johnny will get to his comment as well because he responded to you. But what do you think the manager's trying to do?
My bad, my internet cut out. Can you still hear me?
That's cool, fam. Yeah, I can still hear you. It's calm, fam.
All right, so when you go back to like watching this manager at Ajax, right? Mm-hmm. He wants to implement the Ajax system. So centre backs on the halfway line, inverted fullbacks, the two wingers holding the width on either wing, and with him coming out and saying as well that he wants to be the best transitional team. And
yeah, Todd's having issues, but he was about to say, he said he wants to be the best transition team in what's it called? But then we don't have transition. That's the thing, is then you go get transition ballers. That's what's confusing. I don't know, man. My head hurts trying to think of this. I don't know. Hey, Jazz, big up every single time as well. But Krypton says he's a decent coach, just not United level. Badge is too big for him. I'm sure he'll be successful at like Spurs, Sevilla, etc. That level. Here's the thing is with that, we won't know that until like a manager's here. This is why I don't hear De Zerbi shouts. Like, if a manager, like the expectation level at Manchester United, I've used this before, is completely different. De Zerbi lost at home in the Europa League to AEK Athens. Onana dropped his keys. Not a key of coke, people. Dropped his car keys, and it was a news story. Yes, it was a silly news story, but go check the tweet. Go check the tweet of Brighton losing at home to AEK Athens, and go check the tweet of Onana dropping his keys. And even though it's most people clowning the Twitter account and the publication that put out that story of him dropping his car keys, go check which one has more interaction. Go check which one has more retweets, which one has more quote tweets, which one has more likes, which one was more spoken about. And that's a prime example of the difference I'm talking about when it comes to managing at Brighton and doing well there, and when you're at Manchester United Football Club. Let me clarify, people. The goalkeeper dropped his keys, car keys. Not even, there weren't no key of coke. You know what I'm saying? Car keys. And it gained traction. That don't happen to any other goalkeeper at any other top club. If that's Alisson, if that's Edison, if that's Courtois for Real Madrid, it doesn't. And this is what I'm talking about when I say in regards to what it's like being at Manchester United. This is why I don't hear the De Zerbi shouts. Now, if he goes and wins the Europa League this season for Brighton, different conversation. I'm like, oh shit, you've done something of note. Like you've been under, well, not been under pressure, but you've delivered something. I'm saying playing good football and doing well at Brighton for a season and a bit. And I think he was at Sassuolo before that. And I can't remember the club he was at before that or in between. But that's not enough, is the point that I'm making. But yeah, in regards to this, you won't know, because at least with Ten Hag, the reason why I was cool with it was you've been somewhere where you're under pressure to win and have won. Because if you do not succeed at Ajax as the manager, you'll get sacked. I swear they've been through, 2 managers have been sacked since him, if I'm to be correct. Jez, let me know if that is the case or if someone else in the chat knows that in regards to it. So it might be, like I said with Ten Hag, I don't know yet in regards to the sample size not being big enough. Yes, Sassuolo, Shakhtar, Brighton. Like, come on, man. I'm saying, like, and that's not me criticizing De Zerbi. I think he's a very good manager. I think he's doing a very, very good job at Brighton. But the levels of expectation is different, because our goalkeeper dropped his keys. And it's a new story. Like, he dropped his keys.
Yo, you can hear me?
Like, yeah. Can hear you back. Yeah, you're clear. But yeah,
my bad. My internet's having a mare, bro.
Nah, it's cool. Been there, fam. Been there, man. When my internet's on a wild, man. But go on.
Fucking Joker internet. Yeah, bro. The style of play. With him saying that he wanted to play, be the best transitional football team. Like, man heard that and thought he meant counter-attacking football. And he didn't. All he meant is win the ball back high when we're out of possession. That's why people like Mason Mount have been signed. That's why people like Anthony don't get taken out of the team, because he will do that for you. It's having people in your team that win their duels. We're terrible as a team when it comes to winning duels. I think today, the only person that won at least half of their duels out of the forward players, so the attackers, the wingers, the 10, and the midfielders, is Hannibal. The rest of them are all in below 50% for their duels. Scott McTominay won like 2 out of 8. You get me? Like, Jesus. It's terrible. It's terrible. So this is why people like Mason Mount get signed. This is why people like Anthony don't get taken out of the team. You get what I'm saying? This is why people like Bruno are very important to him, because you're going to get someone that wants to win their duels at all costs. This makes a difference when you're trying to implement your style of play. He wants to win the ball back high. And Mason Mount, to his credit, as poor as he was on the ball in the first few games that he started, he was winning his duels and he was winning the ball back high. He did it a number of times and we got chances out of it. So when he says he wants to be the best transitional team, he wants to hold position, yes, but when we lose it, he wants to win the ball back high. That's why the centre-backs and the back line in general are supposed to be at least on the halfway line. That's why people like Onana have been signed, so he can play high as well. Like, it's a system he's trying to form, but you need the right players for it. You need players with the right mentality for it as well. Like, this season, the games that we've been losing, when you watch them back without the emotion, you see exactly what's happening. Like, he's coaching certain types of games and we're starting well, we're playing well, and we're just not finishing clear-cut chances, and we're having a number of clear-cut chances and screwing them up. And then what happens is we concede, sometimes by the opposition's first attack, as was the case with Brighton. They didn't have a sniff until they scored. And then as soon as they score, heads go down and everything goes out the window.
Yeah, we fold. Mentality of this team is shocking.
Exactly. And this is why I don't blame the manager, because this is the same mentality I've been seeing for the past, since David Moyes. This started happening with David Moyes. Mentality out the window. So it's not a case of a manager coming in for a year and then it just changing just like that. It's not going to happen. Like, this is going to take time to bed in, and you're watching him struggle to bed it in. You're watching him have to punish people like Rashford and go to war with people like Sancho and chuck out people like Ronaldo, like, because it's a mentality thing. If you weren't asked about the mentality, Ronaldo being disrespectful like that can be paved over. People are like, oh, why can't you just let the Sancho thing go? Nah, because the whole mentality of this squad has to change. You have to make examples like this. So these things take time. But we're 6 games into the new season, and we're 6 games into still trying to implement a new breed of this style of play that he's trying to put in. So you got to be patient, man. We've literally become Chelsea fans I was listening to, I think it was Lewis recently. I think you was on a show with him as well, and he was saying he's very close to being poached out. Like he was saying the time frame of when he's going to be poached out, and it's like that's it's normal to hear him say that because it's like he's a Chelsea fan, innit? But we're not supposed to be like that though, innit? Like we're not Chelsea. We like they get success with that, even though the success with that has stopped. But they do that, innit? We're not supposed to be like that. And it's not some like moral high ground thing of, oh, we're better than that. It's none of that, man. It's like, let a manager come in and bed down his style of play. There's a lot that this manager has to do. It's going to take time. You can't just 6 games in say, oh, Ten Hag out. I'm losing faith in Ten Hag. Like, bro, you're just going to be on the same, you're going to be on the same thing with De Zerbi if he ever comes in. Like, it's wild to me that people have got that train of thought.
I get it because of how bad it is. I do understand why people, because I have doubts about him. 110% I have doubts about him because you've spent more money and it's like, okay, I've watched you, basically all the issues we have this season, we had last season, and I watched you rectify them and have success. So to me, and so that means you're adaptable. That means you're switched on and paying attention to what's going on. So therefore I look here and go, if you are so the way you've just explained, like what he's trying to do, okay, that's clearly not working. Revert to something else. Because I watched you do this last season. Just revert back to type, go that way.
That's the problem, though. Him being so adaptable is a problem because I'm here not only to get results, but I'm here to bring a style of play. And I can't put my style of play in because these man fold whenever I try it. So I then got to revert. Like you watched him do it last season, just revert to play a whole different way that he don't actually want to play. He don't actually believe in playing the way he's playing. Do you think Ten Hag ever, when he was at Ajax, would ever stand for any games where he's not in charge of possession, where the stats look how they look? And the reason why I have faith in Ten Hag is because people go, oh, it was only the Dutch league. But when you look at the Champions League games and you look at like the metrics and the stats from those seasons he was in the Champions League, that Ajax team in the Champions League were topping a lot of metrics and stats across Europe. So he was with his style of play in Europe, he was bossing it in the Champions League. This is a manager that showed me he can win things both here and elsewhere. This is a manager that showed me he can implement his style of play and can implement his culture. So you gotta give this manager the chance and a few years and a few windows to do what he's supposed to do. People say he spent money. I get that. But when you look at that pitch today, where's the money? Man can't tell me where the money is because why is Hannibal starting in the 10?
Yeah. It's not on Hannibal, but it's more so that if you are trying to implement your style, if it's once more so your team, it should resemble that more. That's my biggest concern of whatever you're trying to implement. Because a lot of these games, not even so much today, because I'm not even going through it today, but when you look at the Brighton game, these are all players you either signed or players you gave new deals to. Like, literally, I think everyone there might have been one, like, for instance, Onana, that's your signing. Dalot, you gave a new contract to. Reguilon, you signed. Martinez, you signed. Lindelof, you could have moved on. Casemiro, you're signing. Ericsson, you're signing. McTominay, you could have moved on.
Could he have moved these players on? No, like, could he? Because he's trying to move these players on.
No, he could. You know how I know he can move these on? Because he don't want Sancho. He don't want Sancho.
I think he didn't want him in the summer and he didn't get moved on.
No. That's my point is that I'm making, though. You can move on a player without him leaving the club. You can freeze a player out. That's another thing. I've watched you do this. I watched you do it with Sancho. I said all summer long, as much as I'm a fan of Sancho and he's a talented player, he's not going to be successful here because he's not a modern day Premier League winger. Go on.
That's where squad politics come into it, though, because you see all these reports like, XYZ doesn't agree with the manager always picking this player. You gotta walk that tightrope. Like, I want this guy out. The owners ain't throwing him out. I can't necessarily freeze him because then like dressing rooms are so not even just dressing rooms, like just any team in general, like they're always on a thin line of things can go wrong. You get me? Like one person can have an issue with the over, and that can blow up the whole thing, bro. We've been there in the past, bro. You get me? We've been there in the past. We've been there in the past. You get me?
And when Tuck says that, people, he's talking about like me and him not me and him having issues, but me and him in certain places and have certain issues.
Yeah.
To everybody who was in the chat yesterday when I was talking about battle rap, that's what Tox is referring to.
Yeah.
At the AK party, he was asking me questions and was like, we got into battle rap, and I was just explaining how like it's a weird place. And it's full of like just very strange people and egos. And that's what Tox is referring to, which is the case. But you know this as well as I do. Like when it comes to those type of things, I'm dying. If I'm the manager, I'm dying on my sword. If I am not given the best possible platform to succeed, I'm leaving. And I've done this multiple times, people. I've left 3 radio stations.
Yeah, you blow up the whole thing.
I've left because it carried on. The stations are still there. I even called it.
Yeah, but radio. It ain't the same when you leave in it, so the whole thing is blown up.
Of course, it's not, because I now do more numbers from Yard than these stations do. But that's a whole different conversation. If you don't understand
from Yard, you know.
Yo, facts. You know what I'm saying? I'm at home, people. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my bedroom right now. My bed is literally on the right-hand side of me right here, people. No word of a lie. My bed is to the right of me. That's what you got after. I'm not gonna sit down and argue with someone about my talent. If you don't think I'm talented and you run the place, I'm not gonna sit down and argue with you and tell you how talented I am and how much of an asset I can be to your company. I'll leave. You know what I'm saying? And just go work elsewhere and be successful elsewhere.
That's not always an option with like you're kamikaze in it, like you'll do that in it, but that's
how
not
is that? Wait. How is it kamikaze? No, what would be kamikaze is me staying and fighting, because these stations are still running to this day.
I hear you.
So both of wait, is it 2? Nah, I can't even throw Pi Radio in there. Shout out to Pi Radio because they're real ones. Solomon and all that. Like that was amicable. Pi Radio. That just ended because Show and JV wasn't about. But the 2 before that, like they didn't care, not just for me, but other people on the show and just us as a collective.
I hear
I'm saying, like, that's what it is. And it can be amicable. Like, I still work with Mic Check Media to this day. They had signed us as, for those that don't know, musician. I was there first as like an interviewer type of thing. I left Mic Check Media. That was no issue like that.
Let me ask you, if one of these radio stations, because we compare it to Ten Hag, if one of these radio stations was BBC One Extra, 9 p.m. till midnight, or the after work slot, like 5 p.m. till 7 p.m., would you be as quick to bounce?
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I believe you're in it because you're in it. But like,
I mean, if my, but again, that's the mindset people should have. If my
flawless is one of one in it. That's you're one of one.
Yeah, if my talent is like, I always say this is to anyone in regards, because we always go off here on tangents at Sarcasm City. If somebody gives you a job to do, and then they don't give you the best possible platform to succeed at whatever the case may be. So that's managing, that's being a footballer. If you're a radio host, I don't care if you're working at Argos, people. Any job, you could be, you know what I'm saying? You could be a cleaner. I've done all these jobs, people, by the way. I've worked at Tesco, cleaner, all these more jobs than Uncle Ruckus. The point I'm making is, if you are not given the best possible platform to succeed, and then you stay, then I'm not hearing about, I don't have this, I don't have that. Because you understand the predicament you're in. That's what I'm not hearing. I've said it about Ten Hag. I see Ollie talking about that now. You stayed. If you felt that strongly about it, Mourinho did the same. I didn't get this, I didn't get that. If you're not, you're part of the problem. That's on you. Because the thing is, if you were successful, which Mourinho did have success, because he ended up winning 2 trophies. Same way, if Ollie was successful, you would be getting the praise. So therefore, you have to receive the criticism. And I use what we do now as content creating. You know what I'm saying? If someone comes and hires me and says, yo, come make content for me, and they say, right, you have 15 minutes to talk about everything Manchester United. I know damn well 15 minutes is nowhere near enough to get stuff off my chest. But if I stay there and I do that show and it's 15 minutes long, and then the show doesn't pop, and I sit there and complain and say, well, I only got 15 minutes. That's on me as much as the platform. So
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
But the thing is, I've watched him do this. That's the thing. I know he has that type of mindset because I've watched Ten Hag be cutthroat. The way he dealt with Ronaldo was A1. The way he dealt with the Sancho situation the first time was A1. The way he dealt with Maguire, A1. I have no faults with the way he dealt with those three situations. I was like, plaudits. So I know you can do it. So just continue to do it. But hey, go on, carry on, fam.
I think, because I always look at like, if like what's the reason for this? Like what blight could you be given? And it's like, if someone gives you the Manchester United job, I understand why you wouldn't be quick to walk away. And also when there's things around it, such as these owners who Solskjaer just said only let us sign 3 main players a window, which is damn true because that's what we've seen happen with Ten Hag. Right? If these owners are probably in the process of leaving, would I be willing to stick around and stomach some shit? Probably, yeah, I would at Manchester United, because on the other side of these dickheads, yeah, there's potentially a Qatari owner that's gonna come in and just be like, "Here you go." So, yeah, I might struggle through it and see where it goes to in it, but. In it, like there's not many managers outside of Antonio Conte that are just going to say fuck this shit and bounce in it. Like that's not a normal
Jez
thing.
Mentioned him as well. That's hilarious because Jez mentioned him because Jez can't stand Conte.
Conte and that's it. Yeah, Conte and that's it.
Go on, carry on, fam. Sorry,
I respect Conte in it because he's a real one, and like no other managers would do that in it. But like I'm not putting that on his door, innit? Like he's got a lot of stupid shit to deal with, and I feel like he's dealing with it very well. People swim over the fact that half the team's out injured, bro. Like
that I agree with him in terms of all the off the field stuff, minus the Sancho the second time round. I don't have no issue with what he said, what he's done. I think he's done exceptional with all the excess baggage. I'm talking solely on the pitch in regards to revert back to type. That style worked. Why not just carry on with it? That's what I don't get. Like just switching style because this is my initial stuff. Well, you're bringing in players. Yes, players are injured, but they still should be some form of them being able to implement that. One thing they can implement is what you did last year, because all them players. We watched players injured. Like I said, Casemiro was out for long periods of time in terms of suspension. Same way we watched Varane get injured. They're comfortably 2 of our best players. Like and. We had a goalkeeper who you clearly didn't want because we offered him a contract and took it back. So all I'm asking him to do is, what you did last year, like even the substitutes this season, I'm like, how can you go from being so spot on with them to so off? Like today was crying out for subs.
When you look at the bench, the thing is, there's nuance with that as well, because it's like, number one, when you look at the bench looks bad for one. For two, we know that Amrabat is not fit. He didn't train with a squad in pre-season, so we're not going to see a full 90 minutes out of him for a while. We know Varane is probably being rushed back, so we know we can't get too much out of him either. So outside of them two, it's like, who else do you even bring on? Like, I think he's doing what he can, because I'm looking at the game and I'm looking at the time and we desperately need to be making subs, but I'm aware of who we have on the bench, and I'm aware of the fact that the 2 people that you would want to bring on probably don't have that many minutes in the tank, innit? So it's like, there's always nuance to these things. I'm not even trying to make excuses for him, bro, because when he makes mistakes, I'll speak on it. Like when he did that diamond and he put Bruno in the 10 and Eriksen on the side of it, that was stupid. Made no sense. And at no point, when they then scored, because we started very well, but when they then scored and we was being ran through, at no point did he say, do you know what, let me just swap Bruno into the middle of it and put Eriksen in the 10. That's such an easy change, and he never did that. Don't understand that. Cuss him out for that, innit?
I was fearful he was going to play that today. When I seen that lineup, I was like, fuck. I'm so glad he played the 4-2-3-1. I thought he was going to play the diamond. I
don't mind the diamond. It's a personnel thing. If you have like Mason Mount on one of the sides and Amrabat on the other side, no issue. They're 2 men that laterally are going to make all the movement that needs to be made, and vertically, they're going to make all the movement that needs to be made. So it's not going to be a problem. You're not going to be getting ran through, where you're seeing McTominay and Eriksen not putting a shift. Fair enough, Eriksen's not capable. of doing it.
Yeah.
He just isn't.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
McTominay is just, I don't even know what to say about him. But like, so the diamond's not the issue. It's the personnel that's the issue, in it. So I don't mind the diamond moving forward. It just needs to have better personnel.
Yeah, the reason why I don't like the diamond, because I agree with you in regards to once we have all our players fit defensively, I trust us. I watched us last season. I said that. Like in regards when I look at the team, the one saving grace he has, if you throw Varane back into the mix, you got Wan-Bissaka back in the mix, you have Amrabat. From a defensive standpoint, I think it can be improved. Our big issue last season, and the issue I look at this season, is creating and scoring enough goals to win enough matches to indeed be successful. Because I look at Mount, I look at Anthony. Trying to think, is there anyone else from an offensive standpoint? I think they're the only two attacking players who are indeed missing. I don't trust those two to come into this team and switch around and change our fortunes. Well, Højlund, yes, Højlund's been bright. Højlund will get goals and get assists and things of that nature. Yes, Rashford needs. He's like I said this. He's like our fan base on social media. No middle ground with his form. Rashford is either 7 out of 10 or above. You laughing because you know I'm right, yo. He's either 7 out of 10 or above, or 3 out of 10 or below. He has no middle ground whatsoever. I can't remember the last time I seen Rashford and I was like, hey, he was a 5 or 6 today.
Yeah,
I can't remember. He's either legit 7, and I think at points he did it last season. But the point I'm making is, people, he has no middle, and you're gonna have times in particular as an attacker where you're out of form. For whatever reason, team, low on confidence, a mix of both. Find a middle ground. My biggest issue, and I said this all summer long, was who's creating, who's scoring enough for us to be successful. Because I think that's our biggest issue once everybody is flat. I think everyone at their very, very best, I don't trust us to score enough and create enough to be successful.
Funnily enough,
yeah, go on.
It might have changed after today, but when it comes to actual like clear-cut chances being created, we're up there, you know. We just don't put them away for whatever reason. Now, obviously, you've got a new striker now, which there's going to be a bedding in period. And I love this new striker. There was one today that Dalot put in that he should have scored.
Oh, you're talking about the one when he went across, he just couldn't get there?
The flash,
when he fired it on. And, he just couldn't get there. He threw himself
and that happened in a game.
The game before. Rashford crossed it in.
Yeah, from the Rashford cross. But what you're going to see, and we've seen it today, to Rashford's credit, he looked for Højlund a lot today. He looked to pass more than he looked to shoot. Whether that's a conversation.
The one he headed down, I like that one.
Yeah.
The one he headed down, the defender got there.
I was like, go and check you looking for your striker. Like, I don't like whether that's been a conversation from the manager or whether he pays too much attention to social media, which I think he does, and you can tell it in how he conducts himself. Like, that's a positive in it. So the more they play together, the more you're going to see these chances start to get converted in it. What we did quite a few times today is get it into Højlund early, where it's like, all right, he's got a centre back isolated, get it to him early, let him buy a yard of space and get a shot off, because that's how he scored versus Bayern. Buy a yard of space, get a shot off. It can deflect, it can bounce off someone, like anything can happen in it. I seen us look for him very quickly today, and I like that in it. So these things just need time to bed in. But we do create clear-cut chances, we just don't put them away. So I don't worry about that.
The reason why I worry about that, because I paid close attention to this at the start of this season to see, and they talk about clear-cut chances, and what I define as clear-cut chances and what actually falls under the metric, and this is why I don't like some stats, because it's very subjective. For example, the Spurs game, the Casemiro header, that's classed as a clear-cut chance. To me, that's not a clear-cut chance. There's been flat. I think Bruno might have took the free. Bruno flashed in a free kick and he headed it, and their goalkeeper saved it and tipped it over the bar. I'm saying the chat will let me know, but yes, I'm using that as an example. People are like, oh, that's classed as a clear-cut chance. Bruno's flashed it in at a free kick. Casemiro's done well, not only to get to the header, but not only get over the top of the football and direct it towards goal. That's not a clear-cut chance. There was 2 chances Rashford had, one against Wolves, one against, who did we play second? Yeah, Spurs was the second game. And they were pretty much identical, where he's running central, he's running from left to right. The ball's gone down the side in between the left back and the left-sided centre back, and it's a tight angle. Both have been given by clear-cut chances. The one against Wolves, when you look at the angle, that's not a clear-cut chance. The one against Spurs, yes. And that's just 2 off the top of my head. This is why when people talking about clear-cut chances, I'm like, to me, a clear-cut chance is where you go, how has he missed that? I don't look at the Rashford first one. the one against Wolves, and I don't look at the Casemiro header, for example, and go, you should score that. That's impossible to say Casemiro should. That's why I'm like,
one I use ain't coming from set pieces, innit? Like, you can exclude all those things.
Oh, you can exclude set pieces?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you stack my talks on that. You know what I'm saying? Right,
bro, listen.
I excluded that. I like that. You know what I'm saying? That you excluded that. I like that.
But like the chances are there though. We're not converting. But like I said, we got a young striker.
Was there any from today? Sorry to cut you off. Was there any from today outside of the goal? That's classed as a clear chance, a big chance.
We didn't create too many chances today. And I've not even looked at the stats, but just from what I've seen, like even the Bruno one, that's not a clear cut chance.
Yeah. Let me know in the chat, people, because like I say, it's very subjective. It wouldn't surprise me if one popped up today. I'd be like,
they had more clear cut chances than we did today.
What, the one where my man hit the post?
Hit the post, and there was another one. I can't remember, but I know there definitely was one. But we weren't too good with actually taking chances today. Like creatively, we weren't that good today. I don't think we was that good today. And I think duel wise as well, we was terrible today. That definitely needs to be worked on. And that again, that's not a manager thing, bro. It's like you set the players out to go do a job, and these man don't want to win the first balls or the second balls. Like you've got someone like Reguilon that's come in on loan and he's breaking his neck to do these things, and he's putting other players to shame. It's so noticeable. Reguilon shouldn't be coming in and making you man look stupid like that. It's way too noticeable.
We said that, like Reguilon, like how are we going away to the Alliance and Reguilon's the best player on the pitch. He was our best player as well, just doing the basics. He was. And big up to Marshall as well, says, hi, maybe Rashford been watching your content, Flawless. Hey, if any professional footballer outside of Marcus Rashford is watching Sarcasm City TV, hey, you lot support either one, drop a super chat, which would be much appreciated, or two, share it on your socials. You know what I'm saying? Share the channel because I know they be watching. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily this, but I know social media. I remember Lewis speaking about that, like his fan cam last season, like made it to the Chelsea board. You had heard, like his fan cam.
Yeah.
His fan cam.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Like if you are watching, big up as well. You know what I'm saying, but yeah, man, like support the thing, man. I'm saying, like, help me boost them subs up. Just give me a share or something. Especially when you get praised over here, which when you lot play well, you do. Whether I rate you or not, like today, Bruno, that finish is exceptional. And the ball from Evans, exceptional. I couldn't believe what I was watching. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't believe that passage of play.
That was a world-class finish.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not saying he's world-class, but I'm saying it was a world-class finish.
And that's fair. I would not disagree with that because I didn't even, I thought he was going to slice it. I thought, yeah, he's going to disconnect with this. And it was a quality finish. Same way with Evans with the pass, like 110%. But hey, you lot continue to bump up the likes, people. Bump up the likes. Over 60 of you lot in here. Let's get up to 50 likes. Hit the subscribe button as well. Make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell. Continue to get your questions in. Please keep it Manchester United related. Doesn't necessarily have to be about the manager. Maybe about a certain player as well. And that's absolutely fine. Give it to Mikey. Says they complained about Van Gaal, Jose, Oli, and Ten Hag. Do they really think things change with another manager? Here's what I'd say to that. Because I had this was it yesterday? What ManDem United was? Yeah, it was. It was the ManDem United I did with shout out to Eddie yesterday. And someone said in the comment section, oh, why are you always putting it on? Well, that was it. Why are you always putting it on the players? What about, and the manager? What about the ownership in the club? And why don't I blame the fans more? And I said, yes, we know the ownership in the club don't give the team and the manager the most successful, don't give them the best possible platform to succeed. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be trying your best and doing certain things. Like, for example, being organized. That's nothing to do with the Glazers. You can go and watch a team in League One who will lack quality, but they'll be organized. I say it before, I say it again. I watched Everton Arsenal last week. Everton are not one of, even though they won today, they are not one of the better sides in the Premier League. A lot of people's favorites to get relegated. Two things about them. One, organized. Two, clear plan. I seen exactly what they was trying to do. So that's why I don't hear the excuse of it. And that's why all I expect from the manager is at least the basics. I'm saying do the basics. Same from the players as well. That's collective. That's why when we've had poor performances this season, I've not solely blamed the manager. I've not solely blamed the players. Sometimes I believe it's more on the manager. Sometimes I believe it's more on the players. When I look at Arsenal, for instance, that's more on the players. Definitely more on the players. He settles up how he settles up. And if we don't defend sloppily in stoppage time, we get something from that game. When I look at the Brighton game, Diamond, that's more on the manager. But that doesn't mean anyone's alleviated of blame. So do I think things can change with a better manager? Yes, because you can be successful here. You know how I know you can be successful here? Because we watched Ten Hag do it last season. He was successful. Yeah. We won a trophy, finished third. He exceeded all my expectations and the expectations of the general. No one was saying, yeah, United trophy. We're going to win the Carabao Cup, finished third with the second best home record. And this is all under the ownership. All with the fans and all this type of nonsense. And that's another thing I mentioned yesterday when he said, oh, that was it. Why you hold fans accountable? Because fans are nowhere near as important as some fans believe we are. Do we have impact? Yes. But if players, this was someone in the chat yesterday.
Oh, see,
I'm saying about holding fans. Why don't I hold fans to a certain standard? Because I'm like, most fans don't know what they're talking about. That's why. That's legit, and I include myself in that in regards to getting more things wrong than I get right. If fans knew so much, they'd be in the game. You have all this information on football, you would be in the game.
I agree. Fans should be held accountable because one thing we do know, like we just said, players are on social media. So when you've got fans that like go out of the way to make everything toxic online, that I think that does spread into a dressing room. I do think that in it, like when people are calling for the manager 4 games in and stuff like that, like that's toxic, in it.
That is toxic. You are a Manchester United Football Club. You gotta be stronger than that. If you allow social media to affect you, then you're in the wrong place.
These are young boys though at the same time, bro. Like you get me. Like if Sancho 23, I understand why that would affect him if he goes on his social media and sees X, Y, Z. You get me? I think everyone's to be blamed in it. Like, the Glazers, the overarching blame is with the Glazers.
100%.
I can't blame the Glazers for picking a diamond and putting Ericsson on the side of it and Bruno on the 10. I can't blame them for that. I can't blame the manager for Scott McTominay losing all of his jewels. You get me? Like, I can't blame the manager for. So you just got to know where to assign the blame in it. Like, if players aren't tracking runners and all that stuff, like, you get me? You just got to know where to assign the blame. Like, the Glazers are the overarching issue, 1000%. But the players, you got to have professional pride in it. I'd feel bad if Burnley was bopping it around the park and I'm on the pitch. You get me? I'd feel like a dickhead.
So would I, and that's not on the Glazers. That's not on the Marshall. I hear what you're saying in regards to. I disagree with your point about fans, but it's your platform, so do with it as your conscience dictates and respect either way. Of course, like we're here, we're open, you're respectful. So it's like, but the reason why I say that is because we are in regards to if a club does what it's supposed to, fans are happy. That's just simply what it is. I use Real Madrid as an example, and this kills the whole argument dead. They are the pinnacle of holding their club to the highest standards. They are the pinnacle of it, people, right? Real Madrid fans overall. They've booed, I think, every modern day legend they've booed. So if it was so important, why did they go 12 years without winning the Champions League? Because the club was not doing what it was supposed to do. And that's with Real Madrid fans. 12 years they went without winning. And then they started doing the right things and they won 4 in 5 years. I think they've got 5 and 7 or 5 and 8. Same with Manchester United. You know what I'm saying? We went long periods without success. You know why? Because the club is not doing what it's supposed to. Once the club started doing what it was supposed to, we won. Same with Liverpool. You see it with Chelsea. You see it with Arsenal. The list goes on. That's why I say with fans, don't pay attention to them. Be successful. You know what I'm saying? If you're successful, then fans are happy. Like the place was jumping. Double A, shout out to Double A, mentioned it all the time. He a season ticket holder who goes to all home games. He said last season, him and many others are getting there early. You know what I'm saying? And now before the game. Well, he's saying previous seasons, man are getting there 10 minutes before the game. Shit, Joyce got knocked out. Crazy. That's nuts. Joyce got knocked out by Zhang. Mad. Let us know in the chat, people. What round was it? Let us know. But yeah, that's great. So that's what it is in regards to fans. And yeah, the Glazers, of course, they crooks. You know what I'm saying? They the worst of the worst, but they're not to blame for everything. Not everything, no. But yeah, that's crazy that Joyce is. Yeah, let us know what round it was, people. That's nuts.
Man said face first.
Oh geez, that means he got knocked down. Like, did he get stopped? Like, was it a TKO or was it a KO, people? Like, did he get counted out? Or did the ref jump in and stop it? Flawless, what did
man
you
saying face first, like he out,
yeah,
innit?
that's out, man. Like he got knocked out cold.
Yeah.
Damn. Flawless, what do you think of Evans' disallowed goal? It's a joke. Ref for me, Hoyland didn't intervene in play. This is just your bias, Mohammed. He definitely intervened in play. That's all. That's all, man. He's literally in front of. He's as close to the goalkeeper as I am to this microphone. Like, what we doing? And Hoyland's 6 foot plus. Yes, he's definitely intervening with play. It's offside. That's just been our look all season. So yes, yeah. Like, I respect the biasness, though. I'm not gonna lie. I do respect the biasness. And back to it, biasness, and back to what we were saying about Minnesota. Yeah, I wanted to see one of these two, especially when the game was getting stretched. Because our bench has been weak. But today I looked at the bench, I was like, oh, we actually have options. Amrabat was on there, Varane was on there, Palestri was on there, Garnacho was on there. I was like, okay, we got stuff to switch it up and change it for whatever reason he decided not to. But
yeah, I'd have brought Garnacho on today.
Yeah. With all that space,
especially 100%. Towards the end, there was a few counter-attacking possibilities, and he could kill in those instances. But I don't know why he weren't brought on. But we got the win in it. So
yeah, we got the win. That's it. KO, we got up at 8, but his legs were gonna ref called it. So we got up. I respect it.
Fair play.
You know what I'm saying? That's fair plays. I'll have to watch that still, but yeah, I don't know where he goes from there because he's lost to Zhang twice now. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Jacob, big up, man. Good to see United Spurs of America in the chat as well. Let's see what else you lot are saying. Yes, Neo, of course. He said there are levels to coaching Ajax and Manchester, of course. But there's no way, apart from Real Madrid, trying to think, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, like you're talking the creme de la creme of like very few places where you can succeed and the environment is kind of anywhere similar to what it's like at Manchester United. Like Bayern Munich, you're under the microscope. Real Madrid, you're under the microscope. Liverpool, you're under the microscope. But like Ajax, you're under the microscope, but to a lesser extent. But I still think it's a good metric to use because you are actually under pressure. Like I said, if you don't win there, you're gonna get sacked. I'm just saying I don't want any manager. And I'm not saying that's why I was cool with Ten Hag coming in, because I'm like, you've been successful elsewhere where there's pressure to win. Cool. You've been in the Champions League, not won it, but you have Champions League experience. We'll see how he does in Europe this time around as well. But he could improve. Like Ten Hag's not the finished article either. And people forget that.
True that.
He's nowhere near the like. Go on, fam.
You know why the pressure at United is different? Because like Onana is like, for me, he sums up what that United pressure is like, because he's playing within himself and he has been since the season started.
You think so?
His long balls aren't coming off. He's not taking as many risks to what he would usually take, and he's not really stepping outside of his box either. That's simply because he's come in, he's realized that a lot of these players ain't up to scratch. Like, right, we could be in possession and a player could just make a bozo decision and all of a sudden someone's lobbing me from 50 yards out. You get me? Like, man's seen that in quick time, you get me? So he's even playing within himself. Like, you seen that article come out today, he dropped his keys. Like, somebody went to university and did however many years work experience, and you get me, started at the bottom of the ladder and climbed the way up, and now you're in the Daily Mail, fam. You get me? You're in the Daily Mail, and that's what you write. You get me?
That's
like,
what you write. Well,
the United pressure is different, bro.
Facts.
So these things take time, innit? Like, these things take time. But with more wins, like obviously today you got a clean sheet. He managed to affect the game. He's made a few good saves. He claimed some crosses. Like, confidence booster. Next game, he'll be able to move that forward, and especially when we start getting more players back that can actually take the ball under pressure and not lose the ball and be confident on the ball, he'll be able to come out of his shell and start playing how he would usually play. But at the moment, he's playing within himself.
First, you know what I'm saying? That's fair enough. I'm saying that's fair. I never even thought of that. I just thought he's looking at it and going, sometimes the options ain't on. Let me put the ball long. And what I do like, even if Højlund loses the initial one, we're winning and competing for the second one, and that's getting us up the pitch. It's not ideal, but it has to it has to be done. You know what I'm saying? Johnny's saying this was from earlier, obviously, because he was having the internet connections. He said, I see zero play style development, and his favorites that never get dropped are literally transitional players, so they don't fit Ten Hag style we've seen. I know you respond to this, because I ain't gonna lie, the style is confusing to me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's just me. But go on, fam.
No player style development. So he's saying from last season to this season.
I presume so. Johnny, let me know if you're still in the chat. Obviously, we'll give you ample time to respond. Yeah, go on,
I get that. That's true, innit? But at the same time, from the season started, like we seen he was trying to do something in pre-season, you know, with Kobe Mainu and whatnot. Like we see him starting in the middle, and whilst we're on the ball, he's dropping to left back and playing from there, and dropping to right back and playing out from there. Like we clearly seeing something was happening. He was doing something, and then he gets injured and taken out. The season starts, shitload of players drop and get taken out. So it's hard to implement your style when you got to rely on people like McTominay, who we know can't play football. You get me? Like, it just is what it is. We got to rely on people like Eriksen, who we have seen the manager has actively tried to replace, not kick him out of the team, but it's like he didn't want Eriksen to be his first choice midfielder.
Which is the right move. That is the right.
We've seen that clearly. So now you're having to revert to certain players that just can't do the job, which is the reason why you have transfer windows to bring people in. So like, yeah, there's no play development, no style development, because we're 6 games in and we're like 10 man down. So it just is what it is. We're missing first teamers, bro. Like, if Varane's not there and Martinez are not there, there's no one to progress the play. Casemiro can't really progress the play adequately. Bruno's not going to do it unless you drop him back, but then you're sacrificing someone in the 10. Eriksen can progress the play, but he don't have the legs. Like, so this is the reason why we're skipping the midfield when we're going forward. Is bypass it, because the man in there can't take the ball, and can't, even if they do take the ball, they can't play it forward. Like, is what it is. And like, Bruno's always going to be a passenger when it comes to progressing the play. You're going to allow him to be a number 10 and take the risks, but you need to have 2 other man in there that can progress the play. This is why you get someone like Amrabat, who can progress play, and someone like Mason Mount, who also can do it as well, but also give you that bite going forward when it comes to the transition. But we've got injuries, so no, you're not going to see no style development. The people who he refuses to drop, people like Anthony, are people that, whether you like them or not, they might not give you what you want a winger to give you, but in terms of for Ten Hag's style, Anthony does what he's supposed to do. He tracks back, he works hard, he wins the ball back, he holds his width on the right wing exceptionally. So he's always that out ball on the right wing, which is why he's always on the ball. The only problem with Anthony is he's not giving you any goals and no assists. Like, he doesn't affect play in that sense, but everything else that Ten Hag wants, like, he gives you. That's why he don't get dropped. It's not a favourite swing. He legit gives you what Ten Hag wants him to give from a player in that position. Ten Hag said himself in the summer, the only thing he's missing is the end product. He needs to work on that. Ten Hag said that himself.
And that's the issue, because you're gonna live by this. You're gonna live by your decisions, die by your decisions as the manager, and that's the issue in regards to off the ball. I hear it. What he's giving you, it's just on the ball. That's my biggest issue as well. Like, that ties into it. That's why
it's not even just on the ball. Like, I'm gonna shorten it. Like, it's not even on its end product. On the ball, when he gets the ball, he keeps hold of it. He recycles the play. If he feels like he's not got nowhere to go down his lane, he'll stop, pass it back into midfield, and he'll stay as the out ball. And you get me. Like, he'll drop inside, he'll come back outside. He'll work well with his fullback. Like, he gives you a lot. And the times last season where he wasn't playing on the right, you could tell he was missing.
We could tell that. Yeah. But that's what I mean when I say on the ball. I'm talking about end product. Like, when I say on the ball, that's what I mean. I'm talking that quality is what I need also from my offensive players. You know what I'm saying? And Anthony, this is why I gave him the first season. started off this season, he was not good. He was horrific.
Yeah,
Not the only one, but he was terrible. Mount, I already know what I'm getting. This is why I don't even criticize him. Didn't want him to begin with. Didn't want him when we was linked to him. Didn't want him when we signed him. When I watched him, I was just like, that's just you. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can't criticize Mason Mount for performing to his level. I've watched you at Chelsea. Oh shit, large up, never a foul from the raid as well. Big up, man. Large up, everyone who's just tapped in from the raid. Big up Daps, the whole never a foul hierarchy as well. Let's bump up the likes because we're only at 45 likes. Like check 1212. Get us up to 80 likes, people. What are we doing, man? Bump up the likes when you enter this, when you enter the city of Sarcasm, pay the toll, people. And also subscribe as well. Yeah, man, tax free. I'm saying, well, the city is the tax free, yo. I'm saying it'll cost you nothing. You know, you feel me? So get us up to 8,190 people. There's over 150 of you lot. I'm only asking for the free new subscribers. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. But large up, never a foul each and every time as well. Let's see what he said. Ten Hag said Reguilon was ill, but he wanted to play. It says something about his character and spirit. He wanted to play and contribute. That was what I was going to say. Last year, we had the most clean sheets in the Premier League. We were disciplined and followed the rules. When we do that, it's difficult to play against Manchester United. Just get back to that. That's where I'm at, which I think he can because of the defensive players coming back. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, because of that, because of a Varane and an Amrabat goal, Wan-Bissaka you can throw in the mix as well. Just offensively, man. I don't trust these men for us to do something of note. And because the league, you got Manchester City in it, but the cups are there. Yeah, if you're a functioning outfit, look at the Champions League. We played Bayern Munich. Nowhere near our best. They were nowhere near their best. Yeah, they beat us, but they are beatable. If we were to just defend it to an average level, I'm not saying we win the game, but we get something from the game. They're one of the best teams in the competition. Like if you go to bookmakers odds, and we scored 3 there, and we know what we're like away from home. Yeah. That's what has annoyed me so much in regards to this window. When I look at a Champions League and go, with a favorable draw, you can reach a semi-final or a final. We legit watched Inter Milan do it, and then nothing exceptional as a side. They're a functioning outfit. That's what Inter Milan were, a functioning outfit who knew their roles, knew what they had to do, worked very hard. Word to Eddie would be try-hards. You know what I'm saying? And they was on the right side of the draw. Now, if you draw Real Madrid, long day. You know what I'm saying? Long day in the Champions League if you draw Real Madrid, but that's one side. You got Real Madrid, you got Manchester City. They're, to me, the two best sides in the competition.
You could easily avoid them.
You could easily avoid them.
You don't have to worry about like a Liverpool, and you get me, like
Liverpool are doing up Thursday night, so you don't have to worry about them. So it's like, who in there do you look at that you go really concerned? Yeah, PSG. People say PSG are better than United. Cool. But what I'm saying is they're not. I don't look at PSG and go, oh my God, we drew PSG.
Yeah, same,
I'm like, oh my God, they've got Kylian Mbappe and he's a match winner. But like outside of that, I watched them, I'm like, no one's going to be fearful of them. Same with the Bayern Munich, same with others. So that's what it is in regards to, you can get players who bring you off the ball stuff, and I'm all for that pressing, but combine it. That's what it was. I'm like, I think get a better version of Mount.
That's what he's doing, bro. Like when you look at the spine, so Onana, Varane, Martinez. Now you've got Amrabat to come in, who can play progression football. Like he likes to get on the ball. He can pick passes. He's safe on the ball. That then allows Casemiro to go forward and win the ball. Because this is another thing that people don't understand. Like people go, oh, we get run through easily. The reason being is because we're trying to win the ball back up high. So Casemiro is allowed to go and win the ball back up high. That's why we're always left wanting at the back. But now when you got Amrabat in there, it's a lot more secure. So now when you're adding the Mason Mount and the Bruno and the Højlund, who can also press as well, like you got the spine and the structure there of players that can actually play to the style that the manager wants. Maguire, fucking Varane and Martinez can play on the halfway line and play football. Amrabat can play football. Casemiro can now go forward and win the ball back up high and play that transition football that he was talking about. So we need to trust the manager, man. Like as soon as we get these players back, we got Kobe Mainoo to come back. As soon as we get these players back, like we'll be all right, man. And that's not me being an optimist, bro. I'm not even being optimist there. It's plain to see, bro.
I hope so. This is why, again, I've not turned. This is why I'm not sat here saying, yo, I'm Ten Hag out, and all this.
Yeah.
Like, word to Lewis, man, I'm not Ten Hag out, I have Ten Hag out. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. Because
Well,
it's like,
you shouldn't.
The reason why I do is because if you're just we shouldn't be first 11 FC. We shouldn't be
that's a Glazer thing, though, isn't it? That's one of those things that you can't even put on the manager.
That's on the manager, and you know how I know it's on the manager? Because look at last season. There was times Ericsson was his guy. Like Ericsson, from when he signed to he got crocked by Andy Carroll with that terrible challenge, up until that point, he was exceptional. He was like he was top of our assist chart for time. He was top of our assist chart. He even after he was injured, I think it was like 1 or 2 months, or like it was like 4 to 6 weeks he was injured. He was still top of our assist chart. And we still managed to function without him. All I'm saying is, even with injuries, you should be able to function. And because we don't look like a functional unit, and I've seen us be functional at times, because ironically, when I looked at the away game at Arsenal, I was like, up until this point, I'm like, why is the toughest team we faced in the toughest place the best place we're at? Like, that shouldn't happen. Like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, that shouldn't happen. But when are you still there, fam? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm relocating.
Yeah. Nah, no stress, man. Relocate, do your thing, man. Do your thing. And yo, Prime, you need to fast forward because you're behind. Fast forward. We got over 160 people in here now. So yeah, you need to fast forward. You're right. There's nowhere near enough likes. Pay the toll, like you said. Let's get up to 100 likes at 57. You're right. See, the people them know, man. Prime knows. You know what I'm saying? Pay the goddamn toll, man, on the way in. It's free.
Pay the toll, you know.
Yo, pay the toll, fam. So that's what it is. It shouldn't be First 11 FC because it wasn't First 11 FC with less of your players.
It was First 11 FC last season because he never rotated. No matter who we played, no matter where we was playing, he stuck with his First 11.
Yeah, he didn't rotate, but players was missing. Anthony, here's another. Anthony played less games than Sancho.
What, last season?
What are we doing here? Yes, in the Premier League. Yes. Anthony played one less match than Jadon Sancho in the Premier League.
That sounds wild to me.
Yes, exactly. Ericsson was out for a significant amount of time. How many red cards did Casemiro get in the Premier League? Was it 2, 3? So he's missing 4 or 5. Varane didn't play 30 matches. So we weren't First 11 FC because there's many. That's why I was here last season praising Lindelof. Because Lindelof last season so that's why I'm not hearing about, we should be a functioning team at the very worst. And I've watched us function. When you set us up, ironically, like you did last season, because Arsenal up until today was from a defensive standpoint our best performance. Bear in mind, we played Wolves at home, who are going to be battling relegation. We played Forest at home, who you could argue are going to be battling relegation. Then we played obviously Spurs away, which is tough, but I don't think Spurs are better. And then we played Arsenal. So the toughest place against the toughest opposition is where we play the best. Lets me know you can set these man up better. Now, if they fail, then they fail. That's on them from a terms of lack of quality. But it shouldn't be on, Varane's missing, which happened last season. Amrabat's not there, which we didn't have last season. Kobe Maino's not there, which we didn't have last season. Anthony's not there, which also we didn't have last season. Mount's not there, and we go to shit. Because you was without all these guys for a significant amount of time. Everybody I mentioned either wasn't there or didn't play 30 Premier League games.
Yeah, but last season we never dealt with anywhere close to how many injuries we got now. Like there's a difference between missing 1 or 2 guys and missing however the fuck many are missing right now. You get me? If we go through the whole team, yeah, and you've got Wan-Bissaka out, you've got Luke Shaw out, you've got Martinez who's out at one point, he's come back, but he's clearly still injured, and now he's out again. You get me? That's 3 man out your back line. Varane, that's 4 man out your back line. You get me? That's just 4 man in just the back line. It's hard to deal with that, bro. We never dealt with anything like that last season. If it's 1 or 2 man coming in, fair enough. But the amount, and on top of that as well, I think this is something I said to you the other day. Our pre-season was shit. And I was worried through the whole.
You didn't like this. You said you didn't like our pre-season.
I hated it, bro. I was worried through the whole pre-season because it's like, you obviously you're supposed to work your way up to where the players towards the end are getting a couple 90-minute games under the belts. And our players didn't have that. A few of them had maybe 190-minute game under the belt. We finished pre-season with players still only getting up to 65 minutes, 50 minutes. So I was already worried going into the season. It didn't make sense to me. And that's a club issue, because we're on the West Coast one day and then we're on the East Coast the day after. You get me? It's like, I understand marketing's big for the club that we are, but it shouldn't come at the expense of the players. How many managers have we had that's been complaining about pre-season? And to me, this was the worst one, because the players just was not getting the game time that they were supposed to be getting. No, because a lot of them came back late anyway, which fair enough. But when pre-season ended, I just felt like it was short. I felt like we should have been having more games, because I'm like, a lot of these players haven't played 90 minutes in pre-season. So how are we going into the season where a lot of these first teamers have not even played a full 90-minute pre-season game? So I was already concerned about that anyway. So you got players coming into the season unfit, in my opinion, and it's playing itself out that way, because Rashford today looked leggy. He shouldn't look leggy 6 games into the season.
So you think it's a fatigue issue with him?
Yeah, you got people like McTominay who, if you had to say he had one attribute, what is it? He works hard. He looks leggy. So it's like, you're either unfit or you're not asked.
I think with McTominay, it's the latter, but carry on.
I would agree with you, but all of them look like that.
Today he put it in, but against Bayern Munich, that clip that went viral of him not chasing.
Yeah.
But go on, carry on, fam.
All of them look like that, though. That's my problem. All of them look like that. So it's just like, there's a lot going on, and this is why I don't understand why people are saying like Ten Hag out and whatnot, because it's like, I see all the nuance. Pre-season was shit. You got shitload of injuries. You got players playing that are unfit. You got players playing that are still injured. Like, yeah, your play style's gonna be janky, unfortunately. We started poor last season as well. You could probably put that down to pre-season as well. Like, there's reasons for these things, isn't it? But
playing style.
We got a good run coming up, so we'll see where we're at the end of this run.
And that's what it is. That's why I have the doubt, because like I said, I even complain too much about the playing style, even though it should be implemented. It's just like, yo, be organized. So we gonna see, because you mentioned it there. Once everybody is back fit, who plays in the midfield? Because you got free spots for 4 guys with Casemiro, Amrabat, Mount, Bruno. Who's missing out?
And Maino as well when he comes back.
Maino, who's missing out? So if you want to say 5, cool. Who's misses out?
For me, it has to be Casemiro,
two questions.
Amrabat.
Who would you play in, and who do you think the manager goes with?
So I'm playing a 4-2-3-1. I'm getting Casemiro and Amrabat in there.
Okay, first.
Bruno's gonna be the 10, innit?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be my 3. Mason Mount, if you want to put him on the right because we've got space there, you can do. I didn't want him in the first place, innit? I get why you bought him to a degree.
At least we got there. I'm glad you have admitted that. I'm glad we've got there. I'm glad.
Bro, I said this from the start, bro. I've been slagging Mason Mount off for years, bro.
No, you were slagging him off. No, you were slagging him off beforehand, yes. But then when we had the conversation, you was like, "Yo, let's see," and
Let's see, bro.
Let's see,
because like I said, I listened to what the manager said about his style of play in it. So it's like, all right, let's see in it.
Oh my god, yo.
So yeah, I'd play Amrabat and Casemiro. Nailed on. Let Casemiro go and be a destroyer. Let Amrabat progress the play, because that's what you wanted De Jong for. So let Amrabat play that role. Yeah, he's not as good as De Jong when it comes to playing that role, but he is very good when it comes to progressing the play. So let Amrabat sit deep and do that, and then let Bruno do Bruno in it. That's my 3. Who his 3 are going to be, I'm assuming he's going to shoehorn Mount into there because he cost what he cost. And I feel like he's going to make Amrabat a floater because we got so many injuries. Amrabat's going to end up here, there, and everywhere, I feel like, in it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I do want him to play the diamond, though, because then we can fit in more of them.
I ain't trying to, no. I'm not trying to see Mount and Bruno centrally is just, that's pull your hair out stuff. I'm not trying to see that. Them together on the same pitch is bad enough. But both playing central, no, I don't. Like, no, Mount right.
They
Oh,
need
it's just so
structure in it.
horrible.
They need
It's
structure,
so
bro.
horrible. Yo, Mount needs bench. That's what it is. And to that
If you
lover, go on, carry on.
if you're putting them two in, but with Casemiro and Amrabat, that reins them in a bit. I'm hoping, but we'll have to see in it. I don't have no faith in it. I feel like you can only afford one Bruno in it.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad you said that. Yes.
You can only afford one Bruno in it.
I'm glad you said that. 110%. I'm glad you said that. To Daps Lover, yeah, just you know what? I'm just gonna say big up for the super chat. You a wild one because you said some crazy shit yesterday. So I'm just gonna pre-pause that and say thank you very much for the super chat. In it is crazy. I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but it's crazy, yo. In it, man said I look good yesterday. I don't even know if it's a guy. It could be a girl actually. I tell a lie. I just said thank you. You know what I'm saying? I was like thank you. I know I look good, but I said thank you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take compliments where you can get them from. The amount of slander I received, I was like, all right, thank you.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Yeah, I was like, whether it's a female or a male, I just said thank you and kept it stepping. And now they're just saying some next, saying something else. But that's never big up to you because you came on.
What did they say?
Channel, isn't it? Yo, I am not saying this because this is just so pause wherever I'll put it on the screen so you can see it. You know what I'm saying? In that. I ain't saying that, yo. No pause can save that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no pre-pause, no strong pause, yo, in it. I'm just like, all right. I just didn't even want to elaborate and go further into what it meant. I was just like, thank you for the super chat. I just kept it stepping. Yeah, to Marshall, no homo can't save that. You know what I'm saying? God. Hey, big up PJ as well. Warrior J said I'm speechless. Yeah, man, that's why I just said thank you for the super chat and kept it stepping. Like the one yesterday, I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? You supporting the channel. Yeah, you're here. And just quickly to Sony as well. You're not going to agree with everyone here. So he says, love you and the channel flawless, but analysis currently is so poor. I'm just hearing buzzwords and no in-depth conversation, especially from your guests. We need to start being real. So what are you talking about specifically? Obviously, Sony, big up every single time. Tox is not the same. Bear in mind, Tox is much more than like, even though I put special guests, like Tox is the one man I started the channel with. But in regards to it, what questions have you got then, Sony? Because you've been here often enough because me and you have spoke. What do you have conversations? What questions do you have?
Come on and chat in it. It's easy to say that from the chat in it. Like, come on and say what you want to say in it.
All right, first, you know what I'm saying? See, Tox is the only person that can invite people and I don't say shit. So Sony,
that's just a buzz comment in general. You said a whole bunch of nothing in it. Like you actually not even elaborated on what your issue is in it. So you're guilty of what you just said. We're guilty of.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. So what exactly are we get? Like, what question did you not get? Like, what is it? Like, let us know. Yeah, Prime, man. I deserve my flowers and my compliments because I receive friggin' slander all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? And no, it's not well deserved. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing but nice to people. Yeah, people crashed on me. You know what I'm saying? And that. People crashed on me. You know what I'm saying? And to Marshall, who says, yeah, like I'm open for people disagreeing, but at least give information in regards to what you're disagreeing on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man said, how in depth do you expect them to go? You want pie charts and we're open to the conversation. Like, ask the question, innit? What has been said that you disagree with? Yeah, that's big up, man. You know what I'm saying? And that. But,
I think we've been pretty clear.
Yeah, like I think you've been clear. Like I don't agree with everything Tox has said, but I'm letting him get what he wants, give his opinion, and also back it up as well. I'm saying he legit Tox just said to me, I shouldn't have manager down. And I'm like, nah, I do have manager down. But if he turns it around, then fair enough. If the results improve when our players get fit, I just think we'll have the same issues as last season. In terms
there ain't even nothing to turn around, bro. Like we literally just won the Carling Cup. When I
say turn around in regards to sustainable football to get good results over an extended period of time. That's why I say turn around, because this being workmanlike, which today was, I thought we was workmanlike today, and that's not sustainable to get results. That's sustainable to stay in the league. Everton are workmanlike. Nottingham Forest are workmanlike. Like we have, even though we don't have the best players of the top, but we still have better players than to be workmanlike. When you have a Casemiro,
I think the main issue is
go on.
It's like mentality of these players. The way how the heads drop is my biggest issue that Ten Hag needs to address. And he's been asked in press conferences, like, how are you going about addressing that? Because in so many games this season, I've watched us start so well.
Yeah.
Like Tottenham, the first 45 minutes, didn't put a foot wrong. I had no issues. Brighton, first 25 minutes, no issues. Obviously the Nottingham game, like we started terribly, but then like we planned them for the rest of the game. Like
from when we, yeah, I agree with that. Go on, carry on.
They scored too early, innit? But so I'm watching this team play well and have a style of play, even though we've got so many players out, so many injuries. I'm watching this team play well, but then as soon as we get a bit of adversity, we just crumble. So it's a mentality thing that needs to be addressed. That's the main issue. I'm actually seeing though the style of play in progress. I'm watching. I'm with like after that period of play and we go a goal down. I'm like, right, the manager's not coached us to be 1-0 down, innit? In terms of he set us up properly, we've come out properly, and then something has gone wrong. We've not got a decision our way, and then the players have just capitulated. I can't put that all on the manager, innit? The players, you have to manage yourself in game. If you go a goal down, don't just like throw your arms in the air and that's it, start moping about. Like you look at a few of these players like Rashford and whatnot, like you man just mope about. Like do your job, play for the badge, play for your own pride, and come through whatever the adversity is. Like if you go a goal down, you go a goal down. Like get back to what you was just doing before you got a goal down and finish your food, innit? Like and there ain't much more to turn around. Like it's there. It just needs to be built upon and consolidated.
See, that's where we disagree because you think it's there. I don't think it's there. I don't think these players are good enough for where we're trying to go to. And that's where I criticize the manager because we knew this. You know what I'm saying? This was evident even last season when we was playing well. And I'm sat there going, this is good. Like for Eriksen example, I praised Eriksen last season. I thought he did very well for the most part, in particular the first part of the season. And he was very effective and did his role and did a job. And when he wasn't playing, you seen what he doesn't offer. Go and get a major upgrade. I said this. People looked at me crazy when I said this. We needed a major upgrade on Eriksen. Go get a major upgrade. That's when it gets
touchy. Like, oh yeah, it could be Amrabat, it could be Mount in his head. I don't know, but like,
see, that's where the issue lies. Because I'm telling you now, it's not Mount.
But that's one player. When you look at all the players he wanted, so for example, when we talk about major upgrades, he wanted Kim Min-jae. Didn't happen. We didn't even go in for him. We didn't even. Oh, let's pay you more than Bayern. We clearly wanted him. You can clearly look at the profile that he is and see exactly why he was wanted. You can see exactly why we need him. And he's gone to where he's gone now, and he's keeping Delay out of the team. You see exactly why we needed him, and that's not happened.
You talking about Kim Min-jae?
Yeah.
No, with the Kim Min-jae thing, I fully agree in regards to, I don't know, because we offered him a contract, agreed terms, and then didn't put the money in and he had a release clause. So I don't know what went wrong there because the money was there.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think the money was there though, because it's not been put in, and this is a Glazer issue as well. The money wasn't there. We've only bought who we've bought, and then clearly we're shopping around and trying to get people on loans and whatnot, and we're not getting out the people that we need to get out. So you wanted a Kim Min-jae, you've ended up starting the season with Maguire still in your team and Johnny Evans. You wanted a defender, and the only thing you got out of it was Johnny Evans.
Yeah.
Can't really put that on the manager because I remember what happened in the summer. You clearly wanted a centre back. When Kim Min-jae was off the table, you went in for Pavard. Now I'm not Pavard's biggest fan. But I can absolutely see why you wanted to bring him into the team. And he's a cheaper option for the role that you wanted. And that wasn't even done. So it's like, it's all well and good saying, go get the upgrades, but can you actually go get the upgrades? You can't, not with this ownership. And that's where you got to put it on the Glazers. Because I watched the manager clearly want certain players and not get them.
And you don't sign Mason Mount, get Amrabat, bring in Kobbie Mainoo. There's your Kim Min-jae money. Basics.
But if you're getting told, all right, we're gonna get Maguire out, we're gonna get McTominay out, we're gonna get X-Play, like we've not moved anybody on.
I hear that. We haven't moved enough on. Like obviously we got rid of De Gea and stuff, but the point I'm making is that even though overall it's not the best scenario, the money was there to. We spent, how much did we spend this summer? What was it? 200 million? 250?
170 something.
We spent 170 M. So let's say it's 170 million. That's enough to go and get Kim Min-jae for 45 million.
But like, we're relying on player sales. This is above the manager, innit? It's like, I want Mason Mount. This is the time to go get him. So go get him. You're telling me that you're going to get rid of Maguire and you're going to get rid of McTominay. And then when it came down to it, you didn't. So now the money I was supposed to have, I do not have. I cannot buy who I want to get. I want Pavard, who was twerking, to come to us. And you, man, can't even just get rid of McTominay in order to get that money to bring in Pavard. Like, these things are over the manager's heads. So you're seeing that he wants certain players, but it's not happening.
I seen he did want a centre-back. I hear that. But he's confined in a mistake with a mistake. Because like I said, if you don't sign Mason Mount, which is a mistake, the money is there for Kim Min-jae. And on top of that, you have 20 million left over to then go get Amrabat. So you signed Kim Min-jae for the 45 M's. You then sign Amrabat if you want, actually, which you should have actually, he might have not been injured, for the 20 M's. You have Kobe Mainoo in the mix. That's 65 M's. Like there's players there and options there. Everything Mount gives you off the ball, Lavia gives you off the ball. And Lavia was less. He was less money. Everything, all them off the ball attributes in terms of pressing, everything off the ball, Mount gives you, Lavia gives you, and he costs less and is less money in terms of wages. Like, so don't confine a mistake with a mistake. Do I hear it in regards to the ownership and us relying on player sales? Yes, but the money you do have, let's say you had 150 million. Let's say that was the figure that was needed. That's more than enough to go and invest. Because I think Højlund's a smart. I think Højlund's a smart buy. 110%. I think Amrabat alone, the way we got him, is a smart buy. Ironically, that's one of the things people criticize Ten Hag for. I don't. I like the vast majority of his signings. Vast majority. The two signings I have issues with is Anthony, Mount. They're the two. Everyone else, which I think is great from, I think we signed 10 players. 8 out of 10 is a fantastic ratio. That's fine. If you tell me every 10 players, I'm like 8, I will take that. But that's what it is in regards to the manager is.
There's still an asterisk on Mount though. Like, let's not write him off yet.
I've written him off. Yeah, I wrote him off already. What are we doing? Like,
you can't do that. You're better than that. You're better than that.
No. The reason why I can do that is because if he had come from a foreign league, so if he'd come from Syria or he'd come from, we'll use Pavard for an example. I didn't want Pavard. But I'm not gonna write him off because I've not got a big enough sample size of Pavard to go, he's not good enough, even though I'm not a fan, because I'm like, bring me athletes, bring me pace and power. That's the way the game's going. Bring that. Like, it's really clear and really simple to see where the game's going. And why our manager can't see it and others, I don't know, but that's a whole different conversation.
I think our manager does see it. You think when you look at the signings he's made?
Because Mason Mount's not pace and power.
All right, exclude Mason Mount, right?
Yeah. Reguilon's, he is actually quick, so I give him Reguilon.
I don't even think Reguilon counts, because that's just like, we're desperate, come in it. Like, he didn't even want Reguilon, he wanted Cucurella first, didn't it? Like, that was just,
that's a concern. That's a concern. Players we've been linked to is a concern. Players we got linked to.
I wanted Cucurella.
Yeah, I know you did. You crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted Cucurella.
Cucurella, same way with Pavard as well. I'm like, all of the athletes you can go and get to play centre back, and you say, God, let me go get Pavard, when you can go and get, for example, a Bella Kotchap from Southampton.
Because he's thinking about, because like I said, it's a manager that wants to play on the front foot, innit? So like, it's more so like, what are you gonna do for me, for the team attacking? Because he's like, the whole team should defend, the whole team should attack. The attacks are going to start with the goalkeeper and the centre backs. That's why he wants a Pavard. He players like that, innit?
Which is fair. And that comes back to the point of why I was like, okay, I give him. But the reason why I wrote Mount off is because I've seen Mount at his very worst, and I've seen Mount at his very best. And him at his very best was decent.
Listen, I agree with you.
He didn't pull up no tree. I watched the Chelsea that season. I watched a hell of a lot of Chelsea. You know what I'm saying? I watch, like I said, very worst, very best. Ed said it in the chat. That was a major red flag for me. When we was linked with him, I was like, oh shit, this is bad.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was just like paper talk, innit? You know, when papers would chat shit, I thought it was one of them.
Just be talking rubbish. Like, I've never been more against a signing. And then when he played, I was like, this is what I expected. Like, someone asked me in the chat, oh, he had 19 touches against Spurs.
Yeah, that's correct.
In 80-odd minutes. Are you concerned by that? I don't want Mount on the ball. 19 touches might be too much, to be honest, because he don't give you anything going forward. Like, what are we doing here? Let's just be real and call a spade a spade. He has 8 open play assists in 4 years. What are we doing?
Yo, the thing is, I agree with you, yeah.
Exactly. I know you agree with me. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I'm saying it in the rawest fashion. He has 8 open play. As much as I don't rate Bruno, and I think he's overrated.
God.
If you put Bruno in that Chelsea side, in the same environment, same players, same fixtures, he has more than 8 open play assists in 4 years. So forget about him being creative. So you giving me nothing. You giving me nothing from a creative standpoint. So that kills that dead. Your highest goal scorer, you've hit double figures once in the Premier League, and 4 of those were against Norwich and 2 were against Southampton, who both got relegated that season. So half of your goals, or maybe even more, came against Championship level side. So forget about him offensively. And then off the ball, all right, you're a good presser, you're energetic, but you're not athletic, you're not strong, you're not powerful, you're not agile. You give me none of these things. You just run around a lot. You're energetic. You're an offensive Scott McTominay. That's what, and we paid 60 million for that. When you can go get Lavia, who gives you everything Mount gives. I guarantee Lavia, who's not even an offensive player, would if he came here, would give us 8 open play assists in 4 years. Just law of averages being on the pitch.
I'm on the record of saying that we should have just kept Lingard if we was going to bring in Mount in it. Like, I'm on the record of saying that. So I agree with you in it. But let's just wait and see in it. Like, he must have some form of plan in it. I don't see it.
You can wait and
I don't see it.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't see it. But let's see in it.
Exactly. And the fact that, and that's a bigger concern. I can disagree with the manager all I want, but I have to see a vision. Like, for instance, Pavard will use him. I can even though I disagree with the signing, I can understand why you are bringing in a Pavard. Mount made no sense from any perspective in whatever style you're trying to play. Whether you're trying to play possession, whether it's transition, whether it's counter-attacking. And he had the last year of his deal and we paid 60 plus M's for him. Why? Terrible.
And United tax, innit? United tax, bro.
We paid 60.
And that's the Glazers, innit? Put that on the hierarchy, innit?
We paid 60 for him. If you add 30 to that, we could have signed Maddison and Lavia for 90.
Put that on the hierarchy, innit?
Yeah, on the hierarchy, but be smart. Like I said, we paid 60 for him, 65. So you add 25 million to that, and you have Maddison and Lavia. Basics. And you can throw Amrabat in the mix. What's that? 110 M's.
I disagree with that though, because we're not going to go and get Maddison and Lavia for the prices that they're going for, innit? So it don't even work out that way.
At the point,
the fact it don't work out that way.
Okay, so let's say they're a little bit more. So let's say Lavia was 60.
But it's not going to be a little bit, bro. We bought Mount for 60 mil, bro. It's not going to be a little bit in it, like,
because we refuse to walk away from deals. That's why. That's on us. Manchester United tax is a reason because of Manchester United. So let's say Lavia was 60. Let's say Lavia was 70 M's. Then let's say, for example, I still think that's a steal for a player that he gives you all of everything you mentioned with Mount. Lavia gives you, and he gives you. He's agile, he's strong, he's quick, he's 19 years old, so he has levels to improve. He's better on the ball than Mount. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's shunning a team that got relegated. Same way Maddison, shunning a team that got relegated. Let's say he was 60. All right, cool. That improves our midfield. And then you add Amrabat on loan into the mix. You have Kobbie Mainoo in the mix as well. All of a sudden, we have midfield options in there. Eriksen's also in there as well. Hannibal's also in there as well. You go, okay. I'm just saying with that, and then you can go and get a centre back. You could have went and got Bella Kotchap from Southampton, who's good enough on the ball and is an athlete. You could have went and got Salisu. One of them went. Salisu went for cheap, and you could have went and got Bella Kotchap on. Wait, one of them went on loan to PSV. One of them went the same way we got Amrabat on loan. We could have went. All right, let's just get him on basics, and that's me with limit. I'm only scouting in the country. So imagine what there's like outside. If it's Italy, like if a Jez was in the chat, you'd be like, oh, such and such from Italy or Spain or Germany, etc. I think it was just very lazy. I think it's just lazy. That's what it is. But big up Surfer as well. Says, oh, Flawless doing the victim thing again. Why the people crashing me? I tell you why. Because you deserve it, fool. This guy's a dick, yo. This guy's a dick. Big up to Tox. Big up Surfer every single time. And now I don't. Like, even the tweet I put out, when I was like, because I don't normally tweet about like games and that. And I'm like, yo, I bet we win. Everybody just crashed on me collectively. I'm like, Jesus, what's going on, yo? Everybody, yo. Every app was just people crashing them. Yo, get a grip. You know what I'm saying? Get it together. Woe is me and blah, blah, blah.
Yo, big up my twin Surf, innit?
Yeah, big up Surfer, man, every single time. Someone, and Warrior J wanted to know as well, your thoughts on Rashford's form so far. And before you do, Rhino, I'm gonna raid you. So big up to Rhino every single time, man. Make sure you lot subscribe to Rhino MGTV. Yeah, go on, fam.
I don't want to bomb on him, but he makes it hard, innit? Bro, I like Rashford, innit? I like Rashford, and he had a good season last season. He had a very good season last season. Let me not downplay him, but like, you need, you know what I mean? Like, I just need more from him. You get me? Like, for me, Rashford sums up a lot of what's wrong with the team mentality-wise, innit? So, like, the way how you literally watch his head drop, and then you'll get nothing out of him. Like, I'm actually gonna go and look at how many times Rashford's been the one to like equalize for us or put us ahead or like really like drag us forward. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that many times. He's just, you're 26 now, or however old he is. What, 25, 26?
Yeah,
like,
he's mid-20s now. He is mid-20s.
I need more from him, innit?
Yeah.
And you should be the star boy, really. You shouldn't be like, I'd replace Rashford in it if I could. Like, if someone gave me the option of like sell Rashford, get in like however much, and then bring in like two players,
I'd go get a Leal personally, but
I'd snatch your hand off. Like, it's just, bro, like, he frustrates me, man. But there's a player in there, but he frustrates me a lot, and I want to like him, and I do like him, but he frustrates me. So I don't want to say anything too harsh or get on his case, but like, he frustrates me, in it. That's what I'll say.
First, I go back to what I said, man. He's like the stereotypical United fan on social media, man. Like, no middle ground, man. 7 out of 10 or above, 4 out of 10 or below. Like, he has no middle ground. 3 out of 10 or below, I should say. Has no middle ground, man, whatsoever. Zero. Needs to find, and he found it a little bit more. I always say, I was super impressed with him last season because I didn't know he could not only put up that many goals and that many assists in a successful team, but also be an outlet with not much help. So again, like you said, I know there's a player there who can be an asset, but when he's bad, because he's so bad, you can't defend him. I can't sit here and defend him.
At this age, I am looking for more of the game in, game out 7 out of 10s.
Yeah.
Give me that, in it. I need that. It's like you're seeing it with Saka. Like, he's becoming dependable game in, game out. He might not score the goal for you, but he's starting to average around the 7 out of 10 mark every game. I don't get that from Rashford. As good as he was last season, I don't get that from him. He's either really good or really bad, and I don't want that type of turmoil in the team. You get me? Like, it's really like tumultuous, and I don't like it. I just need a steady, emotionally mature team, and he don't fit in with that for me. You get me? Like, his head drops really low, and that bothers me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because he does see that, and that's when people criticize and say, "Oh, it's his attitude." I'm like, "Yo, man's low on confidence."
Yeah.
You can clearly see. That's something you can see. You can see by a player's body language that he's low on confidence, and that's what you need to. Even when you're low on confidence, all right, let me just be a 6 out of 10. Let me just hug the touchline and try to beat my man occasionally, pass the ball inside. Like, just do you don't even have to do anything extravagant. Pass the ball 5 yards inside to the central midfield or into the striker. Just that, make a run in behind and then stop and then like cut it back. Like, don't try and do too much. Just get back to doing the basics.
We're still talking about his decision making at 26, and I don't feel like it's a conversation we're supposed to be having. You get me? And that bothers me. Like, and I'm talking like this because I really feel bad saying negative things about him, especially when he had a good season last season. But for years, I've had issues with him that I've just never, even though he was as good as he was last season, they've just never worked themselves out. Like,
facts.
Shouldn't be talking about your decision making at 26. Today was promising, don't get me wrong. I don't think he didn't have the greatest game, but he showed me that, do you know what? I recognize that we've got this striker in that can buy a yard himself. Let me get him the ball early, because I only did it once versus Brighton. Well, twice, but one was out of bounds. Let me start getting him the ball early and just allow him to like buy a yard and see what happens. Like I see him doing that today, and I like that. If he keeps doing that and trying to be more of a facilitator, because he was trying to be more of a facilitator today, I like that. I can get behind that Rashford in it. But yeah, I need more from him.
I hear you, fam.
Winds me up.
Yeah, that's what it is, because I know what you can do. That's what is annoying. I've watched you, like, again, I don't have to criticize Ten Hag. I've watched Rashford at times, like last season, improve your decision making. I watch you just be an outlet at times. Because people say that a lot, like, oh, when he wasn't scoring and getting assists. No, when you make as many runs as he does, naturally you are going to affect play and just create more space for your teammates. That's just off the ball run. Because one thing about him is he gonna make runs.
Yeah,
that's one thing about Rashford. Whether it's the correct run or not, he's going to be a nuisance. Now
he's still doing it now. Like even with the striker in, like he's still got the highest position on the pitch. Like when you look at like the average positions, he's still a lot higher than Højlund is. So he's still being used as the out ball, and his record against the top six is phenomenal. So like you get me, credit him for things like that. I like him, like bro, like my youth's got his books and all that shit. You get me, like my kid's got like 2-3 of his books. You get me, like I like him, bro. It's just things I need cleaning up. You get me?
Hey, fam, just real like he just needs to hopefully he improves. Like that's what it is, and it can't be. All right, you was on fire last season before you was poor. So it's poor season, good season, poor season, good.
Yeah.
That's no good. That's no good to us. That's no good, man. For where we're trying to go to, that can't run. Like you said, dependable, consistency. They're the key words in this scenario. Like that's what it is. People think that you can only create by passing and link up. That's their fault. It needs to use more. Maybe Ten Hag can make things work in training. You're a joke, man. Just in regards to make things work in training. But yes, people automatically assume. A lot of fans think, oh, you can only create from an attacking standpoint with the ball at your feet. No. Same way when we talk technical ability, people think that only means first touch. Like tackling is not a technical attribute, but we don't associate with that. Heading the ball is a technical attribute, but people don't associate it with that. People just think first touch, you know what I'm saying, shooting, passing. It's like, no, there's defensive technical attributes, but we won't say, oh, that's why you'll hear say, oh, what attack, that was the correct tackle. Like you'll even see different types of slide tackles, for example. People are associated with that. Like sometimes you'll crash into someone. Sometimes you'll just be trying to shepherd the ball out or block a shot or block a pass. There's different ways. Well, yeah, we move. Hey, Warrior J, big up. And Tomato, who said he won't improve, bro. No, maybe not. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying he needs to, though. He needs to just find some consistency. Whether he will or whether he won't, I don't know. But because I've watched him perform and that's the difference. Because someone mentioned, oh, he's like Ronaldo, it's a hinder to the team. No, because when Ronaldo was here scoring goals, we had our worst ever season. Rashford, we had our best season in years. We had our best season since the season we won the Europa League, FA Cup.
What they say it's like Ronaldo, like what when he came back to us.
Yeah. When Ronaldo came back, yeah. Like that's it. So, well, yeah, man, we'll see in regards to Manchester United. Don't forget as well, people, this show, all the other shows on the channel are available on audio-only platforms. SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, type in Sarcasm City TV, this show, all the other shows will pop up. Yeah, Jez, you man it genuinely. Your reputation precedes you prick. But yeah, if you want to listen while you're cooking, while you're cleaning, you're driving, you're at work, you might be at the gym, you might just not want to have the YouTube app open. So like I said, SoundCloud, hit us with the follow on there, please. Spotify, make sure you follow us and 5-star us. And all you iPhone users as well, make sure you 5-star us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts as well. And big up to all the audio listeners because the numbers are growing on there steadily. So big up. But make sure you hit the like button on here. Still over 140 of you lot in here at 81 likes. Let's continue to bump up the likes. Hit the subscribe button on the channel as well. And don't forget to follow the Sarcasm City TV Kick, where we will be doing the North London Derby tomorrow as well. So that's where the watch along will be going down on the Sarcasm City TV Kick, people. Tox, anything you want to add before we close out, fam?
You see how gas people get after like 6 games, 5 games, or whatever it is. You get me? Because like people are talking of the hardest about Tottenham, and it's just like, man's 5 games in, bro. Because like when they crash tomorrow, then what in it? Like it's just I don't know, man. I just think that like everyone's so reactionary. It's mad. I'm literally watching people like go on about Tottenham, and it's like you've not played no one with 5 games in. Like, why are we talking like this? And then they're gonna crash tomorrow, and then what? It's weird, man.
You said it, reactionary, fam. Because we all have phones, fam, that you can just go and just react straight away to stuff.
Yeah,
like we don't let things. A lot of people don't let things swirl around their head. You know what I'm saying? And that, and like actually, like, all right, let me think about this logically. Like to someone who said that, because someone said earlier in the chat about why don't I do like pre-match and after post-match? Because I like to think about the game. I don't want to be reactionary. I've just watched. So let me assess the game. I might watch highlights back and see what's going on in terms of stats. There might be things I've missed in terms of chances or a certain substitution, etc. That's why I don't, because the last thing I am is reactionary.
To add on to that, I only started doing this like recently. Like when a game finishes, go back and watch it again. Because I watch on Peacock, so you can rewatch the games in it for like 30 days. Yo, as soon as I get the chance to sit down, bro, go back and watch it again. And genuinely, yeah, it's like you're watching a whole different game to what you first watched. And it's like, emotions are real, bro. So like, you just watch the first game on emotion. The second time you watch it round, you see a totally different picture. You get me? I'm not saying like, oh, the team's great or anything like that, but you literally just see everything for what it is the second go around. So I'd encourage anyone to do that. Like, if you get the time, got an hour on your hands or whatever, go rewatch a game and you'll literally see a whole different game to what you watched first time.
Yeah, well, that's facts. I hear exactly what you're saying, and big up honesty for the super chat who says, but flawless would Leao's work. Would he work in the attack at Manchester United? Because Leao only likes the ball to feet and he don't track back like that. And congratulations on the 8K, my G. Hey, first and foremost, big up for the super chat, honestly, much appreciated. Secondly, bless about the 8K, much appreciated as well. In regards to it, I wouldn't bring him in regards to, I'm saying, in this team for it to work. Leao, I think, is a special talent. And behind Mbappe and Vinicius Jr., I think he's the head of the rest. I think he's the best. Yeah. I don't think there's another left winger better than outside of those two. When I say that, I think he's the best of the second tier wingers. How old's Leao as well? I think he's only young. How old's Leao? Someone let me know in the chat.
He's young, isn't it?
Let me check.
He's like 22, 23.
Yeah, and I look at his attributes and I'm like, you legit have it all right. He's 24. So he's coming into his own. And another thing that was telling, when AC Milan played Napoli, he stood up. Big moment. He stood up in that game. Bear in mind, Napoli were a lot of people's pick to go all the way to the final. They were a lot of people's pick to actually win the Champions League on that side of the draw. He stood up he stood up in those ties. I'm saying, if I remember correctly, someone let me know in the chat. I think he might have scored the winner in one. Or no, he set up Giroud. I believe he dribbled past like 3 men. Like, and every time I've watched him, I've just been super impressed in regards to Leao. Like, so that's what it is. I've watched him a few. I don't get to watch him as much as I would like, but every time I watch him, I'm like, even against Newcastle when he tripped after doing the back heel, that was funny. But what he did before that was super impressive. And with him only liking the ball to feet, but that doesn't mean he can't run in behind, because I've watched him spinning behind. In terms of tracking back, I tell this everyone, very few attackers like tracking back. Very, very few, especially wingers. They are the least defensively minded normally in a top team. Wingers don't like tracking back. You know what I'm saying? You think Mahrez or Grealish or Doku, I use City as an example, like tracking back. Don't mean they won't do it, but they don't like tracking back. Look at the best. You think Mo Salah likes tracking back and Eden Hazard like tracking back? No, of course not.
That's why most teams defend in a 4-4-2 straight. Like, obviously, most teams play with one striker, so defending in a 4-4-2 straight, normally it's the winger that's in one of the two. You get me? Like, normally you'll have one winger that you'll account for and one that will actually do the job in it. But classically, the wingers, you don't really want him to be tracking back anyway. That's why you need a before you bring someone like a Leao in, you need a squad. Like the squad he needs to be like the final piece of the puzzle, innit?
Yeah. And
you can't bring him in and be asking him to do jobs like that.
Yeah. That's what it is. I'm not worried about. I'm not bringing in an offensive player of that caliber to defend.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about you from a defense. I'm worried about what you can do going forward. Like I said, I'm just sold. Do I think he's of Mbappe or Vinicius Junior level? No. But do I think he's the next behind them? Yes. And I've watched him, like I say.
Think about it.
Go on. What you saying?
I'm gonna go away and think about that. Like,
I can't think of anyone else. Come on, let me know in regards to the left wingers out there in Europe. Take those two out. Because I think Mbappe and Vinicius Junior are the two best.
Yeah.
And then you've got, after that, say a Grealish, Doku's just got here, Matoma, you got Rashford, Martinelli. Trying to think, who else is there? Like, don't get mistaken.
Would you put Rashford above Leao?
How the same is? It's tough. I don't know.
I
don't have a big enough.
I don't have a, think about it.
Yeah, I don't have a big enough sample size. You know what I'm saying? Gnabry's and Sane, like Gnabry's in there as well. But yeah. Leao assisted Giroud in the second leg last season. Like, that's very eye-opening. Like, in regards to that, I don't know if he played against Spurs. I can't remember if he played against Spurs over the 2 legs, but I'm definitely going to be watching that group because that group's the best group anyway. Yeah. And I watched him against Newcastle, and he was legit, even though he should have scored like what he did initially. I like. So, yeah, like your Gnabry's and players like that. I think he's right in the mix of that, the best of the rest. Like I said, behind, but I don't have a big enough sample size to say yes, he's better than Rashford. But if we were to sell Rashford, let's say hypothetically, and we got Leao, no issues with that.
Yeah, so, I hear that.
No issues with that. But yeah, anything you want to add before we close out, fam?
Nah, man, big up everyone that's tuned in. All 8K subscribers, you get me. Big up all the likers and that.
Facts.
Big up yourself as well, man.
Say again?
Big up yourself as well, man. Man's doing bits out here, you get me?
I'm trying, fam. I'm trying, man. Love, man. Much appreciated. You already know. But yeah, honestly, big up for the super chat. Big up earlier for the crazy super chat as well. From Daps L. Big up to you. Large up all the regulars, all the members. Links in the pinned comment. We're gonna raid Rhino now, people. Gonna raid Rhino. So just put Sarcasm City raid in capital letters in his chat. And what we got coming up today? Like I said, yes. The North London Derby over on the Sarcasm City TV kick. So go download the app for free, sign up for free, follow and comment over there, people. Make sure you do so with that for the Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, North London Derby. And then following that, we'll be back here midnight, people, because we didn't do it today because of the North London Derby. So the Manchester United Chelsea Spurs show, which you know is going to be good because not only are Spurs playing Arsenal, Chelsea are at home to Villa. So you know that's going to be good. But love to everyone that's locked in. This has been, hey, Marshall, big up, man. Glad you enjoyed the show. And this has been the ManDem United podcast live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube. Big up for tuning in.